You ever think about space debris like it's a cosmic landfill, where every old satellite is a piece of trash slowly turning our orbital highway into a scrapyard? Today I'm taking you on a ride into that idea with a twist you might not expect. A tiny wooden cube that could reshape how we build spacecraft in the future. This isn't a dry press release. It's a story about clever engineering, bold experimentation, and the messy reality of trying to keep space clean as humanity shoots more stuff up there every year. What if the material that built our furniture and guitars could also help us stop turning space into a perpetual junkyard? That's the premise behind LignoSat, a 10-centimeter-side CubeSat crafted from magnolia-wood. The goal isn't just novelty, it's a serious test to see if wood can replace some metal parts in spacecraft, and, crucially, whether that swap could reduce debris when these craft burn up on reentry. Personally, I think this is a micro-innovation with macro consequences. If it works, it could flip the entire supply chain for space hardware toward greener, lighter, more sustainable options. Let's set the stage. Earth's orbit is crowded. Think of it as a busy highway in the sky. Active satellites, defunct spacecraft, spent rocket stages, and countless fragments from collisions and breakups. The problem isn't just clutter, it's risk. A collision can cascade, creating more debris and threatening everything from weather forecasts to GPS and even crewed missions. From my perspective, this isn't just about running out of space, it's about sender's dilemma. As you send more stuff up, you have to manage the consequences of that stuff. This is the era where material choice can influence both performance and pollution. So what makes LignoSat a big deal? First, the wood isn't just a gimmick. It's a rigorous test. Can a wooden shell survive the vacuum, radiation, and brutal temperature swings in orbit? And more importantly, can it burn up cleanly without leaving a metallic tail of microparticles behind? The team ran a prior ground-to-ISS test where 3 wood species faced the harshness of space for about 10 months. Magnolia stood out as the most stable option, resisting cracks, warping, and mass loss. That's not trivial. If a wooden shell can endure a real orbit, we're onto something genuinely disruptive. Now, how does the experiment actually work? LignoSat is a single CubeSat, roughly 10 centimeters on each side. The outer panels are Honecky magnolia joined with traditional carpentry techniques, no screws or glue, so the structure tests pure wood-to-wood joints in the vacuum of space. Inside sits the usual hardware, metal frames, sensors, and electronics. The mission is simple in concept, but ambitious in implication. Observe how wood behaves under radiation, thermal cycling, and magnetic fields, and measure how it interacts with the rest of the spacecraft systems. What does this mean for debris and reentry? The plan is for the wooden shell to burn away primarily into water vapor and carbon dioxide when it re-enters, rather than leaving long-lived metallic particles behind. NASA and other agencies have warned that aluminum fragments can linger in the atmosphere for years, contributing to a different kind of pollution. If wood burns cleanly and fully, it could become a model for greener end-of-life for small satellites. From my point of view, this aligns with a broader shift, design for deorbitability and responsible end-of-life as standard specs, not afterthoughts. But let's push beyond the surface. What's really interesting here is the broader narrative of sustainable hardware. The Kyoto University team, in collaboration with Sumitomo Forestry and Japan's Space Agency, aren't just testing a material, they're piloting a philosophy. If wood can replace some metal parts without compromising safety or performance, that changes supply chains, manufacturing ecosystems, and even the economics of space missions. What this really suggests is a future where materials are chosen not only for strength and weight, but for life cycle impact, how they behave at the end of a mission, and how easy they are to recycle or deorbit. One key nuance people often miss: the risk calculus in space isn't just about getting there, it's about how you leave no trace. Wood is flammable on Earth, so the test had to address whether the absence of oxygen in orbit would prevent combustion, and how quickly it would evaporate upon reentry. The results so far give a curious answer. In vacuum, wood holds up and doesn't crack. In reentry, it should vanish in a relatively clean way. If the math checks out, this could become a blueprint for future small-scale habitats or structures in space, where the goal is to minimize long-term debris while keeping mission flexibility high. A deeper takeaway: this kind of material innovation isn't about replacing all metals with wood. It's about selective substitution, placing the right material in the right place to balance strength, weight, durability, and end-of-life impact. This isn't a sci-fi fantasy. It's a pragmatic experiment that tests boundaries and collects data that could echo through mission planning, mission duration, and even how we build bases on the Moon or Mars. What many people don't realize is how much the choice of a single material can ripple through design decisions for years to come. Another layer worth exploring is public perception. People hear wood in space and picture a wooden spaceship from a pulp novel. But the reality is far more nuanced. Wood is just one option among many that could reduce debris if used strategically. The historical tendency has been to chase stronger, lighter metals and composites. The Wood project challenges that by focusing on life cycle and end-of-life physics. If LignoSat proves the concept, it invites a broader conversation about material stewardship in space engineering and whether we should rethink what counts as safe or eco-friendly in orbit. So what's next? The immediate future is about scaling thoughtfully. There are plans for LignoSat 2 and other wooden structures that will carry more instruments and test broader integrations, potentially feeding into designs for lunar or Martian habitats. In Scientific American's framing, this is framed as greener space exploration, not gimmicks. If we're serious about sustainable exploration, we'll need a battery of such experiments across different materials, environments, and mission profiles. This isn't a single box, it's the seed of a material ecosystem for space. Before we wrap, a quick reflection. The space industry has always balanced risk, performance, and cost. What makes LignoSat compelling is not just the novelty of wood in orbit, but the courage to experiment with the system-wide implications of material choices. If we can build a future where the end of a mission contributes less debris, we're not just solving a logistical headache, we're shaping a more responsible, imaginative era of space travel. So here's the big question for you. If wood-based hardware proves viable at scale, which parts of a spacecraft would you want to see swapped to wood first? Structural panels, housing for sensors, or perhaps even components of habitats in extreme environments? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and tell me what other materials you'd like to see tested for greener space. Closing thought: space is getting louder, busier, and more complex by the year. Innovations like LignoSat remind us that the best solutions often come from rethinking basics: how we build, how we end missions, and how we coexist with the space environment we depend on. If humanity wants to keep exploring without turning the final frontier into a permanent junkyard, we'll need more experiments like this, audacious, practical, and relentlessly curious.